What if I told you that a simple 25-cent coin sitting in your pocket right now could be worth thousands of dollars? Sounds crazy, right? But collectors across the world are hunting aggressively for certain rare state quarters, and some of them have sold for insane prices. Yes, certain United States state quarters from 1999 to 2008 have sold for significant money, often ranging from hundreds to thousands of dollars, particularly those with minting errors, high-grade conditions, or special compositions. Key examples include the 2004 Wisconsin Extra Leaf quarters, 2000p South Carolina, and rare 1999 Georgia quarters struck on experimental metal. Factors for high value are minting errors, such as double dies or extra leaf errors. For example, 2004p Wisconsin double die increase value. The other key factor is condition coins graded near MS69 or MS70 mint state by services like PCGs are highly sought after, and mint mark D Denver or P Philadelphia marks can determine rarity, with some specific Denver issues being rarer. Before you spend your next quarter, you need to watch this, because today we're revealing the top 5 rare, most wanted, and valuable state quarters. And number 1 might shock you. Let's start with a coin that looks completely normal, but isn't. 1999 Connecticut State Quarter, broad struck error. This coin is an absolute treasure. Because of a striking error, the coin appears larger and distorted and collectors love it. High-grade examples have sold for jaw-dropping prices, sometimes reaching tens of thousands of dollars. Number 2 is 1999 Georgia State Quarter. Number 3 is 2000 Maryland State Quarter. Number 4 is 2000 Massachusetts State Quarter. And number 5 is 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter. So, next time you get a quarter and change, don't ignore it, inspect it, check it, because you might be holding a hidden fortune in your hands. Comment below, have you ever found a rare coin? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because your next coin could change your life. So watch the video carefully till end. Welcome, coin fanatics, and if you're new here, buckle up, because what you're about to discover is going to completely transform the way you look at pocket change forever. Today we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into one of the most electrifying, most jaw-dropping, most historically explosive coins ever struck by the United States Mint, the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter. That's right, a coin that millions of Americans casually tossed into tip jars, vending machines, and sofa cushions without ever realizing that hiding right there in their hands was a piece of numismatic gold. And for the rarest era varieties, a piece that could be worth a fortune that would make your eyes water. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter was the 5th coin released under the groundbreaking 50 State Quarters program, a revolutionary initiative launched by the United States Mint that would go on to become one of the most wildly successful coin programs in American history, reigniting a nationwide passion for coin collecting that hadn't been seen since the silver dollar era in Connecticut. As one of the original 13 colonies, and the very first state to ratify the United States Constitution back in January of 1788, was given a design as legendary and powerful as its history demanded, the iconic charter oak. The ancient white oak tree that, according to historical legend, sheltered Connecticut's royal charter from the tyrannical grasp of the British Crown in 1687. A symbol so deeply embedded in Connecticut's identity that it appears on the state seal itself, and when that image was immortalized on the reverse of this quarter, struck in copper nickel, clad with the inscription, the Constitution, State, and the year 1788, beneath the tree's sprawling branches, collectors across the nation absolutely went wild. Now, here's where things get absolutely insane, because while the standard 1999 PI Philadelphia Mint Connecticut Quarter saw a staggering mintage of 688,744,000 coins, and the 1999D Denver Mint version rolled out at an equally colossal 657,880,000 coins, making them widely available in circulation. It is the error coins and the top-grade specimens that have sent the numismatic world into a complete frenzy. Because grading is everything in this game, and the difference between a circulated example, worth face value, and a flawlessly preserved PCGS or NGC certified MS68 or MS69 specimen can mean the difference between 25 cents and hundreds, even thousands of dollars. With heritage auctions and stacks, Bowers recording stunning results for the finest known examples. And the proof coins. Oh, the proof coins are where collectors truly lose their composure. Because the 1999 San Francisco Mint Proof Connecticut Quarter was produced in both the standard clad proof and the devastatingly rare 90% silver proof version, with the silver proof commanding serious collector premiums and deep cameo proof examples, graded PC GSPR 70DCAM, representing the absolute pinnacle of perfection, a mirror-like field so flawless, So breathtakingly brilliant that under magnification, it looks less like a coin and more like a work of fine art, and these certified perfect grade examples have realized breathtaking auction prices that remind every serious collector why the hunt for perfection is never, ever over. But the story doesn't stop there, not even close, because the error coin community has been electrified by documented Connecticut Quarter errors, including dramatic offsetter strikes, die cap errors, broad strikes, and the coveted double die varieties where the design elements show unmistakable doubling visible to the naked eye, transforming what appears to be an ordinary coin into an extraordinary rarity that serious collectors will pay extraordinary prices to own, with some of the most dramatic, broad-struck, and off-center examples cataloged by PCGS and NGC selling at Heritage auctions for figures that would make your jaw hit the floor. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter also holds a special place in the hearts of collectors because of the sheer cultural earthquake that the 50 State Quarters program set off the United States Mint. Reported that over 100 million Americans began collecting state quarters almost overnight, with families tearing apart piggy banks, digging through register drawers, and scrutinizing every single coin that passed through their hands in search of the finest specimens and the rarest errors, creating an entire generation of passionate numismatists who trace their love of coin collecting back to this very program. And the Connecticut Quarter, as the fifth release, arrived just as the collecting frenzy was reaching its absolute peak, meaning it was hunted, hoarded, and cherished from the very first day of issue in an unprecedented way. For the registry set collectors competing on PCGS, Coinfax, and NGC's competitive registry, the 1999 Connecticut Quarter represents one of the most fiercely contested slots in the entire State Quarter series, with elite collectors spending years tracking down a flawless MS68 full strike or APR70 deep cameo, silver, proof to anchor their collection, because in competitive numismatics, condition is king, rarity is crown jewel, and the prestige of owning the finest known example of any coin is a thrill that no amount of money can fully describe. Whether you are a seasoned collector who has been hunting rarities for decades, or a brand new enthusiast who just found their very first Connecticut Quarter and change and is now wondering whether they've stumbled onto something spectacular. Bottom line is this: the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter is not just a coin, it is a portal into American history, a celebration of constitutional courage, and for the rarest, most perfectly preserved examples. It is a legitimate collectible treasure that demands respect, demands attention, and for the right buyer, at the right auction, demands a price worthy of its legendary status. So the next time you see that charter oak staring back at you from a quarter, don't you dare underestimate it, because history, rarity, and jaw-dropping value can be hiding in plain sight, right there in the change, in your pocket. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a single coin revelation. And drop a comment below telling us, have you ever found a Connecticut Quarter error in the wild? We want to know. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and never stop searching, because the next great find could be closer than you think. Welcome back, fellow coin hunters and treasure seekers, to the channel that digs deeper than anyone else into the jaw-dropping, pulse-pounding, wallet-shaking world of American numismatics. And today, we are cracking open one of the most electrifying, most underestimated, and downright explosive coins in the entire 50 State Quarters program, the 1999 Georgia State Quarter, a coin so loaded with history, so steeped in Southern legend, and so riddled with rare varieties that seasoned collectors and brand new enthusiasts alike are scrambling to get their hands on the finest examples before the market catches fire and leaves everyone else in the dust. Struck at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint in 1999 as the fourth release in the landmark 50 State Quarters program, a revolutionary series authorized by Congress under the 50 States Commemorative Coin Program Act of 1996, the Georgia Quarter features the immortal image of a Georgia peach draped in an oak branch wreath against the bold outline of the state, with the breathtaking inscription, "Wisdom, Justice, Moderation," arching across the design. And the moment this coin was released to the public, it became an instant sensation, with the Philadelphia Mint producing a staggering 451,188,000 examples, and the Denver Mint striking an equally colossal 488,744,000 coins. Numbers that sound enormous until you realize how ferociously collectors have been hoarding the finest, most pristine, most eye-wateringly beautiful specimens from circulation and mint sets alike. But here is where things get absolutely heart-stopping. Not all 1999 Georgia Quarters were created equal, far from it. Because lurking within those hundreds of millions of coins are error, varieties, and high-grade survivors that have sent auction rooms into absolute frenzy. including dramatic doubled die, obverse errors where Lincoln's portrait shows. Unmistakable doubling that makes professional graders stop dead in their tracks. Off-center strikes that look like the mint machinery had a catastrophic meltdown. Die. Cap errors of breathtaking rarity, and broad-struck examples that command serious money from the most aggressive collectors in the hobby today. The proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint represent yet another dimension of this coin's stunning collectability, with standard copper nickel-clad proof examples displaying mirror-like fields so deep you could lose yourself in them, and the legendary silver proof version struck in 90% pure silver, standing as an absolute crown jewel for any state quarter type set, with Gem DCAM examples graded PR70. DCAM by PCGS or NGC, representing the absolute pinnacle of perfection, and commanding prices that would make your head spin at major auction events hosted by Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers. Speaking of auction records, the numismatic world watched in stunned silence as top-tier error examples of the 1999 Georgia Quarter have sold for hundreds of dollars apiece at major sales, with the most spectacular off-center strikes and doubled die varieties reaching price levels that prove beyond any shadow of a doubt that this coin dismissed by casual observers as just another pocket change. Quarter is in reality a sleeping giant of American numismatic history waiting to detonate in value the moment the collecting community fully awakens to its extraordinary potential. The historical significance embedded in this coin runs soul deep. Georgia, the Peach State, the Empire State of the South, the birthplace of Martin Luther King Jr., and the cradle of the Civil Rights Movement. A state whose soil was soaked in the drama of the American Civil War, whose Sherman's March to the Sea scorched a path through history that still echoes today. All of that turbulent, magnificent Southern heritage, compressed into a coin, barely the size of your thumbnail. And the designers at the United States Mint captured that essence with breathtaking artistry in a design that remains one of the most beloved and visually striking in the entire 50-state quarters series. For collectors building a registry set and chasing the highest PCGS population or NGC census grades, the 1999P and 1999D Georgia quarters in MS67 and above are devastatingly rare from circulation strikes, with MS68 examples representing near status and commanding prices at auction that reflect just how brutally difficult it is to find a coin of that caliber that survived the mint's production process. The journey through Federal Reserve distribution and years of handling without acquiring so much as a single contact mark or hairline that would knock it off the summit of perfection. And if you happen to own an example slabbed at that level, you are sitting on a coin of genuinely extraordinary rarity that the market will reward handsomely as collector. Demand continues its unstoppable upward trajectory. So whether you are a hardcore variety hunter crawling through rolls of state quarters with a loop glued to your eye, a registry set competitor locked in fierce battle for the top population spot, a type collector hunting the finest silver-proof example money can buy, or simply someone who picked up a shiny 1999 Georgia Quarter from their change jar years ago and never thought much of it, the message of today's video is absolutely clear. Do not sleep on this coin, do not dismiss it. Do not let it sit unexamined in a drawer or a jar, because the 1999 Georgia State Quarter is a numismatic powerhouse hiding in plain sight. A piece of American history forged in metal, and potentially one of the most exciting coins you will ever hold in the palm of your hand. So grab those coins, get them graded, hit up Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers to see what the market is doing right now, and if you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Because we are just getting started and the best discoveries are always ahead. Because what I am about to tell you could be the difference between leaving hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on the table and walking away with every single penny your 1999 Georgia State Quarter is truly worth. So if you have been sitting on one of these coins and wondering how to squeeze maximum money out of it, stop everything you are doing and watch this right now. The very first and most critical step before you even think about selling is to get your coin professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Do not skip this. Do not cut corners. Do not try to sell it raw on eBay for pocket change, because a 1999P or 1999D Georgia Quarter slabbed MS67 or higher by one of those two top-tier grading services transforms your coin from a 25-cent piece into a certified market-ready collectible that sophisticated buyers will pay serious, jawed premiums to own. And if you are lucky enough to have a silver-proof example graded PR70 DCAM or an error coin, a double die, an off-center strike, a broad strike, getting that coin authenticated and encapsulated in a PCGS or NGC slab is the single most powerful move you can make to explode its value overnight. Once your coin is graded, the absolute best platforms to sell for maximum profit are Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, the two most prestigious numismatic auction houses on the planet, where serious collectors and deep-pocketed investors compete ferociously against each other, driving hammer prices far beyond anything you would ever achieve selling privately or listing on a generic marketplace. And the data proves it over and over again. Coins sold at Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers consistently achieve 30, 50, even 100% more than the same coin sold anywhere else because the bidder pool is massive. The buyers are educated, and the competitive auction format does exactly what you need it to do. It creates urgency. It creates competition, and it creates record-breaking prices that make sellers smile all the way to the bank. If you prefer a faster sale, PCGS, CoinFacts, and NGC Price Guide are your Bible for knowing your coin's exact market value before you negotiate with any dealer. And never, I repeat never, walk into a coin shop without knowing your numbers. First, because knowledge is money in this hobby, and the dealers who lowball unsuspecting sellers are counting on you not doing your homework. So grade it, list it at the right venue, know your value, and get every dollar this extraordinary coin deserves. And if this video helped you, smash that like button. Subscribe right now, and let's keep finding hidden treasure together. Welcome back, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and history fanatics, because today, we are cracking open one of the most breathtakingly underrated coins to ever emerge from the legendary 50-state quarters program. A coin that millions of Americans casually tossed into tip jars and sofa cushions without ever realizing the absolute goldmine sitting right in their palm. The shocking, the spectacular, the deeply historic 2000 Maryland State Quarter. And let me tell you, if you think this coin is just pocket change, you are in for the most jaw-dropping wake-up call of your numismatic life. Struck in the year 2000 at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the Maryland Quarter was the fifth coin released in the 50-state quarters program, a nationwide craze that had everyday Americans flipping over couch cushions, raiding piggy banks, and obsessively checking every single transaction. Because for the first time in modern U.S. history, the government had turned pocket change into collectible art, and Maryland delivered a design so historically rich, so visually commanding, that collectors immediately took notice. The obverse bears the classic portrait of George Washington, but flip it over and you are staring at a masterpiece. The iconic Maryland State House Dome, the oldest state capitol building in the United States that is still in continuous legislative use, flanked by white oak branches, the state tree, and the bold inscription, the Old Line State, a battle cry nickname earned by Maryland's legendary Continental soldiers who held the line against British forces and saved George Washington's army from total annihilation during the Revolutionary War. And that explosive history is permanently frozen in gleaming metal right there in your hand. Now here is where things get dangerously exciting for collectors. The 2000p Philadelphia issue struck a staggering 678,200,000 coins. And the 2000 Denveritone issue produced an equally mind-blowing 556,532,000, making circulated examples easy to find. Yes, but here is the secret. The casual collector completely misses in circulated condition. These coins are common. But finding a blazing, flawless, never-touched mint state, example graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, that is where this coin transforms from ordinary to extraordinary. Because population reports show that ultra-high-grade examples are genuinely scarce. And the difference between an MS65 and an MS67 can mean the difference between a $5 coin and a coin fetching $100 to $300 or more at Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. Yes, you heard that right. Hundreds of dollars for a quarter. But wait, the real heart-stopping story for the 2000 Maryland Quarter is the proof and silver-proof versions. Struck exclusively at the San Francisco Mint, bearing the coveted S-Mint mark. Coins that were never meant to see circulation. Polished to mirror-like perfection with frosted cameo devices, and in top grades like PR70 Deep Cameo. These stunning coins have captured serious collector attention, with certified examples commanding impressive premiums that leave jaw-dropping auction results in their wake. And then comes the piece of knowledge that separates the ordinary collector from the truly obsessed. Error coins. The 2000 Maryland Quarter, like all state quarters, produced a small but electrifying population of mint error varieties including dramatic die cracks, die cuts, rotated dies, and off-center strikes that have sent collectors into an absolute frenzy. A well-documented off-center Maryland Quarter with a significant percentage of misalignment can sell for $50, $100, even $200 or beyond, depending on the severity and certification. turning what seemed like a damaged coin into a certified piece of accidental numismatic history. Whether you are a seasoned collector hunting for registry-worthy mint state specimens, a passionate air coin detective, or someone who just discovered a beautiful 2000 Maryland quarter hiding at the bottom of a change jar, one absolute truth remains: this coin carries the weight of American Revolutionary history, the prestige of a legendary state capital, and the undeniable thrill of the hunt. So before you spend that quarter on a vending machine snack, hold it up to the light, check that mint mark, examine those surfaces, and ask yourself, could this be the one? So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you never miss another coin that could be hiding a fortune in your pocket, and drop a comment below telling us, do you have a 2000 Maryland state quarter in your collection? Let's talk coin as asterisk. Stop right there, because if you are about to sell your 2000 Maryland state quarter without watching this video first, you could be leaving hundreds of dollars sitting on the table and handing a dealer the deal of a lifetime at your expense, and I am absolutely not going to let that happen to you. Selling a coin the wrong way is one of the most heartbreaking mistakes in numismatics. Collectors walk into a pawn shop, get offered face value on a coin worth 50 times that, and walk out thinking they got a fair deal, and that stops today, right now, with this video. The very first thing you must do before you even think about selling your 2000 Maryland state quarter is to examine it under a quality loupe or magnifier in good lighting and identify your mint mark. AP means Philadelphia, AD means Denver, and the rarest and most electrifying of all is the S mint mark from San Francisco, which was only struck as a proof or silver-proof coin and was never released into circulation, making it an instant premium piece the moment you spot that tiny S on the obverse. And if you have a silver proof with the S mint mark, you are already holding a coin that the average person would completely overlook, but a sharp collector would pay serious money for it without blinking. Next, and this is absolutely critical, do not clean your coin under any circumstances, because cleaning a coin, even with gentle soap and water, destroys the original surface luster, wipes away microscopic details, and can slash the value of an otherwise premium coin by 50 to 90% overnight, turning a potential $100 to $300 MS67 gem into a problem coin worth a few dollars. The numismatic world is brutally unforgiving when it comes to cleaned coins. And no buyer at heritage auctions, stacks, Bowers, or any reputable platform will touch a cleaned example at full value. Now, here is where the real money-making strategy begins. If your coin looks sharp, blazing with luster, with no visible scratches, hits, or wear under magnification, you need to seriously consider professional third-party grading through PC or NGC, the two most trusted and respected grading services on the planet. Because a raw, ungraded coin and a PCGS or NGC slabbed coin are treated as completely different animals in the marketplace. A raw Maryland quarter might fetch $5 to $20 from a dealer, even in great shape. But that exact same coin, graded MS67 by PCGS, could hammer for $100, $200, even $300 or more at auction, because collectors bidding on heritage auctions or eBay with certified grades are willing to pay massive premiums for the certainty and protection that a certified slab provides. And that grading fee of $20 to $40 could be the single most profitable investment you ever make on a single coin. For error coins off, center strikes, dramatic die cracks, die cuts, or rotated dies, professional grading becomes even more non-negotiable, because an authenticated and certified Maryland quarter carries a documented paper trail that it transforms it from a curiosity into a certified rarity that serious coin collectors will aggressively compete to own. And those bidding wars on heritage auctions are where coins like yours get their true value unlocked in the most spectacular fashion. When it comes to actually selling, you have three powerful options. First, heritage auctions and stacks. Bowers are the absolute gold standard for high-grade or rare certified examples, reaching the largest audience of serious deep collectors in the world and consistently producing record-breaking hammer prices that will make your jaw drop. Second, eBay is your best friend for mid-range certified coins or interesting raw examples, especially if you write a compelling, keyword-rich listing with crisp, high-resolution photographs showing both obverse and reverse clearly, because buyers scrolling eBay are hunting for exactly what you have, and a great listing converts browsers into bidders instantly. And third, for bulk common circulated examples, coin shows and local coin dealers offer quick cash. Will always get multiple offers because dealers vary wildly in what they will pay, and the first offer is almost never the best offer. Shop around, be patient, and never accept face value for a coin that even has a chance of being something special. The absolute bottom line is this: knowledge is money in the coin world. Patience is profit, and the collector who takes the time to properly identify, preserve, and strategically sell their coins will always walk away with dramatically more money than the person who rushes to the nearest pawn shop in a panic. So do your homework, protect that coin, get it graded if it deserves it, and let the marketplace reward you with every single dollar your 2000 Maryland State Quarter has earned. Now, smash that like button. Subscribe so you never miss another coin selling strategy that could put real money in your pocket. And drop a comment below telling us, have you ever sold a coin and later found out it was worth way more than you got? Let's talk about it. Welcome, and if you are new here, buckle up, because today we are diving deep into one of the most electrifying, jaw-dropping, and wildly underappreciated coins in the entire 50 State Quarters program, the 2000P and 2000D Massachusetts State Quarter, a coin that millions of people have held in the palm of their hand without ever realizing they were touching a piece of history so rich, so steeped in legend and rebellion, that numismatists across the world still argue about its finest specimens to this very day. And trust me, by the end of this video, you are never going to look at your pocket change the same way again. The Massachusetts State Quarter was struck in the year 2000 as part of the United States Mint's historic 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 all the way through 2008 and stands as arguably the most ambitious and explosively popular coinage initiative in American history, producing billions upon billions of coins and reigniting a national obsession with coin collecting that had not been seen in generations in Massachusetts. Being the fifth state admitted to the Union on February 6, 1788, was the sixth coin released in the entire program, hitting circulation in February of 2000 and unleashing a tidal wave of excitement among collectors coast to coast. The obverse, or head side, of course bears the iconic portrait of George Washington, the very same design that has anchored the quarter since 1932, sculpted in the tradition of the celebrated Jongantuan Udong bus, but it is the reverse, the tails side, that makes this coin absolutely breathtaking, because the United States Mint commissioned a design so powerfully symbolic, so drenched in the blood and sacrifice of American independence, that it practically screams freedom, right off the metal. The reverse design features the Minuteman, that immortal, defiant figure of the Massachusetts colonial militia, standing proud and resolute with his musket in hand, backed by a bold outline of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts itself, with the inscription, "The Bay State," arching beneath, in proud proclamation, a tribute to a nickname that stretches back centuries and honors the very geography that defined early colonial life in New England, the Massachusetts Bay being the lifeblood of trade, exploration, and revolutionary spirit that made this state the absolute epicenter of the American Revolution. Think about what this Minuteman represents. These were ordinary farmers, blacksmiths, and tradesmen who dropped everything at a moment's notice, grabbed their muskets, and stood face to face with the most powerful military empire on earth. And it was right here in Massachusetts, on April 19, 1775, at Lexington and Concord, that those first catastrophic shots were fired. The shots that echoed through history and launched a war that would birth the greatest nation the world has ever known. And now that unbreakable spirit is immortalized forever in copper and nickel, struck into millions of coins that circulated through the hands of everyday Americans, most of whom had absolutely no idea they were carrying that much history in their pockets. Now let us talk mintage numbers, because this is where things get truly staggering. The Philadelphia Mint struck an almost incomprehensible 628,600,000 Massachusetts State Quarters in 2000. That is 628,600,000 coins from Philadelphia alone, making it one of the highest mintage releases in the entire 50 State Quarters series, while the Denver Mint added another crushing 535,184,000 to the total, bringing the combined business strike mintage to well over 1,160 million coins, a production figure so enormous it is almost impossible to wrap your mind around. And yet, and this is the shocking truth that separates the casual observer from the serious collector, sheer mintage means absolutely nothing when it comes to HEGRED certified examples, because finding a Massachusetts quarter struck with razor-sharp detail, perfect luster, no contact marks, and flawless surfaces is a pursuit that drives collectors to near madness. In circulated grades, these coins are worth face value, and in lower mint state grades from MS60 through MS64, you are still looking at extremely modest premiums in the range of 50 cents to a few dollars. But cross that magical threshold into MS65 gem territory and things start to get interesting. And when you climb into the stratospheric heights of MS67 and MS68, you enter a world where this supposedly common coin transforms into a legitimately rare and aggressively pursued trophy. PCGS and NGC population reports are absolutely brutal at the top end, An MS-68 Massachusetts Quarter from either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint is a coin that virtually nobody has in their collection. A coin that auction houses treat with the same reverence reserved for early American rarities. And Heritage Auctions has recorded sales of superb gem examples that have commanded prices shocking enough to make your eyes water. With top-up MS-68 specimens from both mints, trading hands at auction for hundreds of dollars for a coin with a face value of 25 cents, which is the kind of numismatic alchemy that makes this hobby so endlessly thrilling and unpredictable. But raw circulation strikes are only part of the story. Because the San Francisco Mint, the legendary mint that has long been the exclusive domain of collector coins, struck proof Massachusetts. Quarters in 2000, with a mintage of approximately 4,020,083 for the standard clad proof set and around 65,421 for the silver proof versions. And these coins are an entirely different animal altogether. The silver proof Massachusetts Quarter, struck in beautiful 90% silver rather than the copper nickel clad composition of the business strikes, carries that unmistakable mirror-like background, that glassy, almost supernatural depth of field that makes every detail of the Minuteman design pop off the surface like a three-dimensional sculpture. And deep cameo silver-proof examples, graded DC, AM by PCGS or NGC, at the PR69 or PR70 level, are legitimate. Stunning coins that serious collectors proudly display as centerpieces of their state quarter collections, with PR70 deep cameo specimens, commanding significant premiums at auction that reflect both their technical perfection and their enduring collector appeal. Now here is where the story gets even more electrifying, because no discussion of any state quarter release is complete without hunting for era coins. Those magnificent accidents of the minting process that transform an otherwise ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind numismatic treasure, worth many multiples of its face value and potentially thousands of dollars to the right collector. The Massachusetts State Quarter, like all coins struck during the frantic volume production years of the State Quarters program, has produced its share of documented errors and varieties that send collectors absolutely scrambling. We are talking about off-center strikes, where the design is dramatically shifted away from center, exposing a crescent of blank planchet metal in a visual anomaly so striking and undeniable that even a non-collector immediately recognizes something extraordinary has happened. We are talking about broad-struck examples that were struck outside the collar die, causing the coin to spread and expand beyond its normal diameter in a way that distorts the design in the most fascinating manner. And we are talking about double die varieties. Those precious coins, where a misalignment during the die-hubbing process resulted in a doubled image visible on the design elements. The kind of subtle but unmistakable doubling that sharp-eyed collectors spend hours searching roll after roll of coins to find die cap errors, clashed dies, wrong planchet errors. Yes, Massachusetts quarters have been documented on wrong planchets, coins that were struck on planchettes intended for entirely different denominations, creating hybrid coins of such rarity and collectability that even a single example can change hands at auction for staggering sums, and the hunt for these errors in original bankrolls, mint bags, and pocket change is one of the most addictively exciting aspects of collecting. This series, from a historical standpoint, the Massachusetts Quarter is one of the most symbolically loaded coins in the entire 50-state quarters program. Because Massachusetts is not just another state, Massachusetts is the cradle of American liberty, the birthplace of the American Revolution, home to Paul Revere's Midnight Ride, the Boston Tea Party, the Battle of Bunker Hill, and John Adams, Samuel Adams, and John Hancock, men whose courage and intellect forged the philosophical and political foundations upon which an entire nation was built. The Minuteman design was selected through a rigorous process that involved both public input and review by the Citizens Commemorative Coin Advisory Committee. And the final design captures something truly timeless, that explosive, irreducible spirit of an ordinary person standing up against impossible odds in defense of liberty, which is a message that resonates just as powerfully today as it did in 1775, and perhaps even more so. Governor Paul Cellucci approved the final design on behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And when those first coins rolled off the presses at the Philadelphia Mint in early 2000, it was a moment of genuine civic pride for one of the oldest and proudest states in the Union, for collectors building a complete state quarter set. The Massachusetts Quarter is absolutely essential. It is coin number 6 of 50 in the circulation issue. And, completing the set in high grade is one of the most satisfying long-term collecting projects. Welcome, coin lovers, treasure hunters, and anyone who has ever stared at a quarter and wondered, could this tiny piece of metal be worth a fortune? Because today we are diving headfirst into one of the most iconic, most celebrated, and most jaw-dropping releases in the entire history of the United States Mint's 50 State Quarters program. The breathtaking, the legendary, the absolutely electrifying 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter. A coin so rich in history, so loaded with symbolism, and in certain rare conditions, so shockingly valuable, that collectors across America and around the globe are scrambling to get their hands on certified examples right now. And by the time this video is over, you are going to look at this quarter in a completely different light. So let's start at the very beginning of the year was 1999, when President Bill Clinton signed the 50 State Quarters Commemorative Coin Program Act into law, unleashing what would become the single greatest coin collecting craze in American history, a program that pulled over 140 million Americans into coin collecting almost overnight. And New Hampshire was the 9th state to enter the Union back on June 21, 1788, making it a pivotal piece of the young republic's story. And fittingly, the 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter was the 9th coin released in the 50 State Quarters series, hitting circulation in the year 2000, carrying with it the soul of an entire state on one tiny silver-clad canvas. Now let's talk about what makes this design so extraordinary. Because the New Hampshire Quarter features the legendary Old Man of the Mountain, a natural rock formation on Cannon Mountain in Franconia Notch State Park that had been the proud symbol of New Hampshire for generations. A dramatic and awe-inspiring profile of a human face carved by nothing but time and nature itself into the granite cliffs. Standing 1,200 feet above Profile Lake, measuring 40 feet tall, invisible for miles, this was not just a symbol. This was the living face of an entire state, celebrated in literature by Nathaniel Hawthorne in his famous story, The Great Stone Face, and immortalized on New Hampshire state emblem, license plates, road signs, in the hearts of every New Hampshire native. And here is where history delivers a gut punch that makes this coin even more emotionally powerful and collectible than you could possibly imagine. On May 3, 2003, just 3 years after this quarter was struck, the Old Man of the Mountain collapsed overnight, crumbling into rubble after thousands of years of defying gravity. And in that single devastating moment, the 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter transformed from a beautiful commemorative coin into a permanent, breathtaking memorial to something the world can never see again. The only place you can still see the Old Man of the Mountain in his full glory today is right here on this quarter, making every single example of this coin a sacred numismatic artifact, a time capsule frozen at the moment before loss. And that emotional weight has driven collector demand and sentimental value through the roof in ways that few coins in modern American history can match. Now, let's get into the production numbers, because understanding mintage is absolutely critical to understanding value. And the 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter was produced in absolutely staggering quantities. The Philadelphia Mint struck an astonishing 673,040,000 examples bearing the P Mint mark, while the Denver Mint hammered out an equally jaw-dropping 495,976,000 coins bearing the D Mint mark, giving a combined business strike total of over 1.16 billion coins, making this one of the highest mintage quarters in the entire 50 State Quarters series. And in the world of numismatics, high mintage generally means lower value for circulated examples. Your everyday worn 2000p or 2000D New Hampshire Quarter pulled from pocket change is worth face value just 25 cents. But do not let that fool you for even 1 second, because the story of this coin's value is not in the circulated examples. It is in the pristine, the perfect, the absolutely flawless gems that survived the mint's production process without a single contact mark, without a single bag mark, without a single imperfection. And those coins, certified by the Professional Coin Grading Service or the New Guarantee Corporation in grades of MS66, MS67, MS68, and beyond. Those coins are an entirely different animal, an entirely different world of value. A 2000p New Hampshire Quarter graded MS67 by PCGS can sell for anywhere between $15 and $40, depending on the market. But push that grade up to MS68 and you are suddenly talking about coins that have changed hands for $60, $70, even over $100 at major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers. And at the absolute summit of the population, the dazzling, the virtually impossible to find MS69 examples represent perhaps the most extraordinary prize a modern quarter collector could pursue, with examples commanding prices that make even seasoned numismatists gasp out loud. And then there is the proof coinage, because the San Francisco Mint produced stunning proof examples of the 2000 New Hampshire Quarter for inclusion in collector sets, with both standard clad proof versions and the spectacular 90% silver proof versions that gleam with a mirror-like brilliance that makes your jaw drop the moment you see them. The silver proofs in particular certified in grades of PR69D CAM, or the nearly impossible PR70D CAM, represent the absolute pinnacle of this coin's artistic achievement, with deep cameo contrast between the frosted devices and the mirror-like fields creating a visual impact. So stunning, it looks more like a work of fine art than a coin. And Heritage Auctions records show silver-proof examples in top grades consistently crossing the auction block. 4 remarkable sums that no one would have predicted when these coins were first released. But wait, because we have not even gotten to the most explosive, most controversial, most collector-obsessed segment of this entire video, the era coins. Because the 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter, like every coin in the 50 State Quarters series, produced a fascinating array of mint errors that command serious premiums in today's market. And the most stunning of all are the dramatic off-metal strikes, the spectacular die caps, the breathtaking double dies, and the absolutely mind-bending statehood quarter errors that were struck on wrong planchets. Imagine a New Hampshire State Quarter design struck on a dime planchet or a Sacagawea dollar planchet, or even a foreign coin planchet. These catastrophic mint errors are the stuff of numismatic legend, the kind of coins that make collectors lose sleep, the kind of coins that Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers feature in their most prestigious sales and off-center strikes on the New Hampshire Quarter. Coins, where the die came down, dramatically misaligned, and struck only a portion of the design, are actively sought by error coin specialists who pay serious premiums for dramatic examples, especially those in uncirculated grades and the broad-struck examples, coins that were struck outside the collar, die, and expanded beyond their normal diameter. Present, the Old Man of the Mountain design in a hauntingly distorted, dreamlike way that makes them uniquely beautiful in a way no normal coin can replicate. Now, let's talk about the absolute holy grail of 2000 New Hampshire Quarter heirs. The wrong planchet strikes, because in 2000, the United States Mint was simultaneously producing 5 different planchet state quarters, along with Sacagawea dollars, Roosevelt dimes, Jefferson nickels, Lincoln cents, and Susan B. Anthony dollars. And occasionally, very, very rarely, in a mistake that must have made mint workers' hearts sink, a planchet intended for one denomination slipped into the production run of another, resulting in a coin that is simply impossible, a coin that should not exist, a coin that the mint's quality control failed to catch. And when one of these impossibilities surfaces in the market, when a New Hampshire Quarter design appears on a dime, planchet, or vice versa, the numismatic community absolutely erupts. These coins have sold at Heritage Auctions for thousands of dollars, and they represent arguably the most dramatic, most conversation-stopping, most genuinely shocking coins in the entire modern era coin universe. Now for the collector who is watching this video and wondering how to start building a New Hampshire Quarter collection, the advice is straightforward and electrifying in its own right. Start by searching your pocket change and coin rolls from the bank. Because while the odds of finding a premium era coin are slim, they are not zero. And the thrill of the hunt is half the joy of this hobby. Upgrade your collection by pursuing PCGS or NGC certified examples in MS67 or higher for the business strikes, and target PR69D CAM or PR70D CAM certified silver proofs for the absolute showpieces of your collection. Visit Heritage Auctions at hhe.com and Stack's Bowers Galleries for auction archives that will show you exactly what these coins are selling for in real time, and cross-reference with PCGS, CoinFacts, and NGC's online census to understand just how rare the top-grade examples truly are. And always remember that beyond the numbers, beyond the auction records, beyond the grade labels and the certified slabs, the 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter carries with it something no other modern American coin can claim. It is the last portrait of the Old Man of the Mountain. It is a piece of granite and history and heartbreak pressed into cents of copper-clad zinc.